Hi, good morning and happy Saturday. I am Ellie and I am a certified yoga instructor. Here we are at our new home at the Just Yoga studio. Just a quick reminder that Just Yoga is collaborating with the Pink Ribbon Place to be able to provide us a permanent home for our Facebook Live yoga videos. So, once again, welcome to our class today. A couple of things before we get started today. Like always, make sure you have your yoga mat with you. Today, let's go ahead and grab two blankets. If you happen to have yoga blankets like these guys, go ahead and grab these. If you don't have those, you can always use towels, whatever kind of blankets you have at home, but I do recommend at least two. If you also happen to have some yoga blocks, go ahead and bring those out. We will be doing maybe one thing. I don't know. We'll see. We'll play it by ear today, see how I feel um, about our little class as we go through it. But yes, you can always go ahead and grab your yoga blocks if you have some. And if you don't, we will always use our blankets as well as another variation, modification for whatever we is that we're going to do. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started with today's class. Like always, making sure we stay safe and making sure we stay very aware of our bodies with everything that we do. I want to go ahead and start seated this class. Go ahead and grab your blanket. And it should already maybe be folded at this length. And what we want to do from here is we want to fold it one more time to create like a little hot dog. Place it behind us. And we're kind of half sitting on it, half not. Again, all that this does is makes us sit up a little straighter, avoid a lot of this rounding of the back. I'm going to go ahead and start by taking our hand and placing it, our right hand, on the outside. If you can see, it's just kind of propped up like this on the floor. We're going to inhale, and then we're going to go ahead and take our head and tilt it towards the left side, opening up the area right here, that right side of the neck. We are breathing in. This is going to be a little bit of our opening meditation as well. So as we begin stretching out the area, we also begin focusing on our breathing. And as we start to settle in, maybe start to do a couple little no's, maybe some yeses, and something that just kind of feels good. And then very slowly coming back to center. I'm going to place that right hand on the right thigh, left hand coming down, and inhale, and we start letting the head fall towards the right side. Once again, finding our breath here. And now what I want you to think about for the duration of our class is simply your practice. Everything else that we got going on, it's all going to be thereafter. So take the next, couple of minutes, however long our class takes today, to just focus on yourself and do something that feels really good for you. One more breath here. And slowly coming back to center. Go ahead and place both of those hands on your knees. And let the head just drop forward, and giving yourself some little neck rolls back and forth. And just begin checking in with your body. Seeing how everything is feeling. It might feel a little different depending on how your week went. The body might feel a little off. And coming back to center. From here, let's go ahead and just roll those shoulders back. We're just checking in with our bodies, trying to catch our breath, trying to get into a little bit of a flow here. Rolling one way, rolling the other. Something that feels good. Again, if you sit at a desk all day, this is probably what you're looking at for about 40 hours. So just go ahead and keep the eyes closed if you'd like. Just rolling one way, the other. And when you're ready, when you got all your little stretches that you have felt like you needed, you can go ahead and open your eyes if they weren't open already. Go ahead and take those hands behind you. Feet are about hip width distance apart, and just let them fall side to side. Getting a little bit of movement into the low back, in the legs. And when you're ready, go ahead and cross those legs again. But this time, if you're crossing a certain way, go ahead and cross in the opposite direction. Normally, this is the way that does not feel natural to us. It feels a little off. And then go ahead and place those hands once again on your knees. Inhale, bring that chest forward. And exhale, tucking the chin, rounding the spine. Inhale, coming forward. And exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale, forward. And exhale, rounding the spine. You are always welcome to do a couple more here if you'd like, at your own pace. And coming back to center. Roll the shoulders out a little bit more. And when we're ready, inhale, bringing those hands all the way up. Take that left hand, bring it to that right knee, right hand behind you, coming in for a twist. You're going to inhale, get nice and tall, and then exhale, twisting. Our gaze will follow over to our right shoulder. One more breath here. And inhale, hands back up. And exhale, switching sides. So now my right hand is on my left knee and left hand behind me. If you went opposite of me, that is perfectly okay. One more breath here. And when ready, inhale, bring those hands back up. You can bring them palms together all the way down. From here, let's go ahead and take that left hand and bring it up towards the sky. Right hand, you're gonna go ahead and grab that left wrist, wrist like this. And then inhale, and then go ahead and start leaning towards the right side, opening up that left side of the ribs. So here, we're not trying to really yank or pull too much, just enough where we start to feel a little bit of an opening on our left side. Already coming back down. Push it back to center, bringing those hands down. Inhale, right hand up. Left hand coming in, grabbing that right wrist and taking it towards the left side. Yeah. So obviously, you guys know I also teach the Spanish yoga class. So English isn't my first language. So sometimes some of the words get a little mixed up. The pronunciation gets a little mixed up, but it's all good. It's just good fun. Eventually, the words will always come. And coming back to center. Go ahead and bring those hands down. If you got to roll the shoulders out, you got to wiggle, whatever it is that you need to do right now for yourself, go ahead and do that. You can let me see where I want to take you guys today. Okay, you can go ahead and remove that blanket from behind you. We are going to be coming into keeping a wide fold like this, but we are going to bring it and we're going to have it very supported as we go. So you are welcome to keep the blanket behind you like I had it. If you happen to have blocks, go ahead and take your blocks. If you're feeling the hamstrings are a little tight, we haven't really done anything for the hamstrings. So you can always place a block under, like I'm doing, like this. If you don't have any blocks, you can always take a blanket. So I said at least two because you can always place them under the knees. And you're going to roll it up like a little tiny burrito, like this. And then you can always place it under. So you have two options. You can use your blanket, or you can use a block, or you can use neither one, depending again how the hamstrings are feeling this morning. But between all of those, whichever one you find the best is always the best option for you. From here, you're going to keep the toes nice and active, holding back towards us. You're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to inhale, keeping the spine really, again, nice and tall. We're going to exhale, we're going to begin walking our hands forward. What we're looking for here is, again, that stretch in this area. So I don't really care if you're down here, but your back is rounded. What I want you tall, keeping that back nice and straight. And maybe if you only go up to here, then this is great. Versus bringing the forehead down, but your spine is completely all kind of out of funk. We don't want that. We want to make sure we keep our spine protected and straight. So you're going to inhale, and maybe you can walk your hands a little bit further. And then the same thing goes with the legs. Whatever it is that you need to modify, whatever version you need for yourself, that's great. If your legs are way closer together like this, that's perfectly fine. All of our bodies are different. They all want something different today. So however it is you get into this pose, whatever way that it looks like, that's all that matters. And taking one more breath here. If you choose to, you can walk the hands a little further. And again, keeping that back nice and straight. One more breath. Maybe you walk a little bit further. Again, always seeing where you're at. We're not really pushing our body into a deep, deep fold here. And when you're ready, slowly start walking those hands back. You go ahead, just take a moment to stretch out. So I've planted both of my hands behind me, and I'm just going to inhale, and I'm going to bring the chest forward. And exhale, coming back. From here, let's go ahead and keep this left leg where it's at. Using that right hand, go ahead and pick up the right leg, holding it like this. If we got any funky things going on with the knees, two options here. You can go ahead and grab that block and place it under, like I did. You can place that block under this leg as well, whichever one. And again, if you don't have any blocks, take that blanket and place it under. So I'll go ahead and work with you guys on this one and keep this blanket right under like this. From here, we're going to inhale, getting nice and tall. And then exhale, we begin taking our torso and shifting it towards the left, bringing our hands down, and then walking our hands towards that left foot. Again, we don't want this where we get further, but our back is really, really rounded. Instead, we want to stay nice and tall, and then maybe it limits or it reduces how far forward we walk. Instead, it pulls us up a little bit back, but we are actually getting a much better, a much more structured stretch. Keeping those toes active. And one more breath here. And when we're ready, walking those hands back. Before we go ahead and do the other side, let's grab our left leg, grab that left knee, and we're bringing it up. From here, I want to bring that left knee to the bottom of that right foot, like this. So it might look a little funky, but we're keeping that right knee bent the way that it was the entire time. And we're taking that left knee and we're bringing it to the bottom of that right foot. So it's kind of like they're all connected in this little weird angle. If you're on hardwood floor, you could always place that second blanket and protect that ankle, those little bones right here, up against your hardwood floor if you'd like. From here, we inhale and exhale. Begin shifting your torso now towards the right side, placing your hands down. And from here, we aren't looking more of a stretch. This is actually more of a twist. So you begin twisting to wherever you feel that it feels good. So we don't want any pain. You don't have to reach super far out. You can keep your hands pretty close to you. And what we're looking for is just keeping that back straight. And then we exhale and we twist a little bit towards that right side. And then one more breath here. And very slowly start walking those hands all the way back. Remove anything you got, any blocks, blankets. Slowly bring those knees. And we're just going to switch sides. So you go ahead and extend that right knee out, right leg out. Right knee is, or left knee, so sorry, is bent in. Again, left, right. So everything's it's Saturday. Everything's a little funky this morning. As long as we're going on the opposite side. From here, we're going to inhale. Taking our torso. We're going to exhale, shift our torso towards the right side. Begin walking those hands. If you can grab your foot, that's great. If it's your knee, your shin, that's also great. Honestly, it is all great. Yoga is definitely not one of those sports where it's competitive or with the person next to you, whatever they're doing is their own practice. And that's one of the things I absolutely love about practicing yoga, that the only thing that matters is whatever is going on your mat, whatever is going on in this little tiny yellow square, that's all that matters to me. One more breath here. And when we're ready, walking those hands back, bringing that torso back, taking that right hand, placing it under that knee, that right knee. And once again, we're going to go ahead and place that the left foot up against the right knee. So right knee up against the left foot. Same thing. Inhale and then exhale. Now we're twisting towards the left side. I got so many blocks everywhere, blankets everywhere. But it's all fun. It's part of the practice. Maybe every inhale you get a little bit taller, and then every exhale maybe you twist a little bit deeper. Again, something that just feels good. We're trying really hard here not to hurt ourselves, not to push our bodies past what they want to give us today. And when you're ready, go ahead and walk those hands all the way back. Picking up those feet, place them about hip width distance apart one more time. Hands behind you, just letting those knees fall side to side. And when we're ready, we're going to come onto our backs. Go ahead and bring a blanket. Actually, before we get on our backs, we're going to be taking either a block or a blanket to the low back. So if you have a block, you're set to go. And if there is no yoga block, go ahead and take your blanket. And you're going to fold it about 3 ways. So if we were to put that in measurements, let me see if I can give you somewhat of an accurate. It's about the size of my palm, and maybe that's about 3 inches wide. So about 3 inches wide. So put it on the side, either that or your block. I'll demonstrate it with both for you. And then you could take whichever option you would like. And if you don't want either one of those, then that's perfectly fine as well. So let's come onto our backs. Our back should be feeling pretty good. A little bendy, a little nice. So I'll start with the block first. You will bring the feet in close to where the tippy fingers can kind of lightly graze the heel. Feet are pretty close together. You're going to inhale and pick up the hips. Slide that block to the sacrum, I believe it is, low back area. This should feel really, really good. If, again, you don't have a block, you can also use your blanket that I'm just going to slide right under. If you want a little bit more, you can always use a second blanket, but just a little bit here. And very similarly, you're going to get a little bit here of elevation of the hips coming up. So again, whichever one of those two. And if you don't want either, you just kind of want to lay down with nothing on your back, that's also perfectly fine. So you have a couple options. You are welcome also to hang out here. That's also really good. Maybe today you woke up and, I just kind of want to hang out in my practice. That's perfectly fine. If you want to work a little bit of abs, we're going to do very little abs. You go ahead and bring those knees up. Hands can go on the sides. And again, we're just going to use this for stability. You can hang out here. If you're on the block too, this might feel really good. Maybe you want a little bit more, like I said, abs. Go ahead and bring that right foot out and let it hover. So we're not touching our mat like this. We're going to hold it maybe an inch or two off of our mat. And then bring it in. Maybe the left foot comes out. Again, hovering, keeping the toes active. And you bring it back in. And maybe you switch. And maybe you do this with me, alternating the feet. Maybe as we talk, maybe as we kind of think about our practice right now. Maybe you start telling yourself that you really like it as those abs start firing up. You start working those muscles. You start telling yourself that you really like this. You're really enjoying this. This is exactly what you woke up for, because nothing else can beat this Saturday morning of working your abs. Let's go ahead and do it. Just a couple more. And again, those hands are on the ground to help you stay stable. And when you're ready, you're going to go ahead and come back. Bring in those feet back in like I am doing, and very slowly bringing them down, letting the body rest. If you want to do more abs, you are more than welcome to keep, pew, 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 But it was just very light again. We're just kind of feeling out our bodies. Saturday, this is a much more of a gentle yoga class. So we try to hit a little bit of everything in the body and get a little bit of a stretch. Go ahead and take the block, the blanket, whatever it is that you had under you, lifting up the hips and removing it. Place it on the side. From here, hands out. Go ahead and inhale, lifting that right leg up, crossing it over the left. Inhale, taking the hips to the right and letting those knees fall to the left side. Your gaze will either come towards the left, and if you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, a deeper twist, you can look towards the right side. So breathing in. I know it feels a little compressed here, but when we twist, we always want to try and bring that breath towards our upper back, the areas that maybe the air doesn't get to so easily. And when we're ready, bringing those knees back up, realigning our hips. All we're doing is switching, so left leg comes over the right, hips towards the left, and knees are going to drop towards the right side. Maybe you might feel a pop. As long as it's a good pop, that's good. But this is actually this is your reclined spinal twist, I believe. And this is actually one of my favorite poses just because it always feels so good. I always love ending my practice, every time, I step on my mat the same way, just because it feels like a nice way of kind of just wringing out, any little last tension that we forget about. It just feels really good. When you're ready, bringing those knees back up. Hips are realigned. From here, you can take a moment, give yourself a nice big stretch. Maybe you bring the knees in, something that your body needs, whatever it is that your body needs right now, go ahead and give it that. For me, it's just windshield wiping left and right. But whatever it is, give yourself that. And just like that, we are pretty much done with our class today. You are more than welcome to stay here if you have the privilege, if you have the time. I do highly recommend that you spend a couple of minutes seated. If you're a little more crunched on time, you can come up in your own way to seated one last time. Hands are coming up and palms together, coming to heart center. You're welcome to keep the eyes closed if you'd like. Just taking a couple moments to breathe in all of that sweet energy that you've created today, whether it was in your bedroom, in the living room, outside, in your backyard, wherever it was that you took some time for yourself. Thank you very much. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your Saturday morning. It is truly a privilege and an honor, to be in your presence. I want to remind you all, please, to continue checking the pink ribbon page as well as the Riverside Community Health Foundation page. Like always, myself, the studio here at Just Yoga, we are all very, very excited, very happy to be a part of your practice. And until we see each other again, namaste.